Wealthy Europeans have been wealthy long enough to enjoy life, whilst Americans are snobs. Mercy DeVere, my mother-in-law, was a definite snob. She had been old money married to new money, and while she enjoyed her husband's railroad dynasty, she often complained about the nouveau riche, a subset of which I was considered to be. As Barbara Bixby, I owned land and jewellery, but as Nadine, I was nobody. As a widow in Philadelphia, Mercy kept a dollhouse-like fortress off of Rittenhouse Square. Here she lived in a house full of beautiful things from countries she detested, and entertained women from families she detested. It was among these married-to-money sorts I managed to make a few friends. I always enjoyed the company of Mrs. Bucknell. And in Boston we often entertained Mrs. Gardner, though Mercy would make herself scarce whenever Everett and I invited her around. Mrs. Gardner and I got along very well. I liked Mrs. Gardner and Mrs. Bucknell. They embraced me, even as a second wife from nowhere. I cannot say the same of my sisters-in-law. Justine DeVere had pleased her mother and married a Kansas oilman, Bradford Brine. Jane, the baby, was expected to do nothing, and she did just that. Mercy was always begging me to write to her, saying that Jane admired me. I was living on the street at Jane's age. But Mercy would beg me so in the hope that Jane would return home from Europe that I would oblige. I did not oblige Mercy when she asked me to relinquish my charitable duties around Boston. She was one of those women who believed that taking the air with immigrants might make you ill. She always introduced me as her British daughter-in-law, and when I tried to correct her that I was Irish, she ignored me, so I stopped trying to correct her. I got into a routine from it: bridge every Monday, children's hospital board Tuesdays, and so on, polo weekends, summers in Newport, Rhode Island. It was one of those summers Jane announced that she was coming home from Europe and bringing a dear friend. I thought it would just be another summer. I thought when I saw him he was only meant to scandalize the DeVeres. But that was a minuscule scandal as to what would happen that summer.